What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you so much for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and today I am joined by the team over at Envoice. This is an easy-to-use app that lets you create and send invoices, process payments online, track your income, and get paid faster. It is on AppSumo right now, starting at $39 for a lifetime deal. But before we dive into the walkthrough, I'm just going to give y'all a lay of the land, let y'all know what's up. First thing, if you want to tell us a little bit about your use case, why you're interested in this tool, you can go ahead and do that in the chat room. If you have any questions about the tool, the deal, how to get set up, go ahead and leave those questions in the Q&A box down below this video. We will circle back to them at the end of the walkthrough. And the last thing is there will be a replay of this available. So if you need to step out, or if you just want to, watch this again as you're falling asleep at night, you totally can. It'll be sent to your email, about an hour after we're done recording. All right, that is enough of me. Hey, Marjan, how are you doing?
Hello. Thank you for the invitation, Lindsay. I feel great. Excited to basically be part of the webinar where I can demo our product Envoice, which is, as you mentioned, an application that will help you to run your business essentially by sending invoices, payment requests, or creating products where you can actually do a checkout. So yeah, it will be good to run through it basically so we can show what are all of the features that Envoice do support. So if you can give me just a second, we'll start with I'll start sharing the screen.
Sure thing. Looks good.
Okay.
Have fun.
I think I started sharing the screen. Can you see it?
I can see it. Looks good.
Perfect. So for the time being, I have skipped the registration part because it is a straightforward one. So what we are seeing now is actually the when you log in for the first time on Envoice with the Sell Online plan, you're going to see a bunch of models which are listed. So I'll try to go one by one, first by how to configure your account. So basically, we have two types of settings. One is the account settings, where you can actually preset the company details, the bank accounts, the payment providers, etc. And you can choose different layouts for the invoices, customizations, and so on and so forth. And we have the store settings, when you can actually configure the store itself. So first, of course, as a new user, we need to create our profile. So first is the profile card. We can set the company name. We can set the address, the country, and some additional details regarding the application itself. So let's say our company is named Acme, so we can say that Acme. It is based in USA. We can set a phone number and an address. Let's say Sunset Boulevard 9345, and hit save. Then we can, of course, upload our own logo. I'll try to find one in a second. Let's see. So downloads. Okay. So this is one of the logo actually that was sent by our clients. So I will use it just for this purpose. Then we can set the invoice defaults in terms of we can set what is the default currency that you are working with. We can set our VAT number, which is usually issued by the state, company registration number, default terms like 5 days. We can define, for example, a format of the dates on the invoice and what is going to be the default due date in days. Later on, we can define if we would like to enable recurring invoices. There is an option for predictive invoicing, which allows the system itself to predict to whom you need to issue your next invoice. You can preset from the 3 templates which one you would like to use for the invoices. Then we have the bank details. So for the bank details part, we have for local transfers, we can set what's the local bank account number. So let's say we have some bank that we are using. Then we can set the local 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 number, and then we can set the international bank account number. And of course the SWIFT, which is used for processing. And save it. The difference is if your client is from your country, in that case, the local bank account number will be displayed. Otherwise, if your client is from a different country, the international bank account number will be displayed, which is used for the wire transfers. Then here we can list our products and services, not necessarily from this place, but it is also available. And we can configure the tax rates. If we have an accountant, in that case, we can set their email. And once we set up our accountant email, we can forward the invoices to them so they can basically process it on their behalf. We have the SMTP and domain. For the SMTP, we can define our custom SMTP email server in case it is defined. We'll use your SMTP to send emails with invoices and orders and reminders to your clients. Otherwise, we'll use the Envoice one. We have an option for custom domain. Just a note that I wanted to say that it supports HTTP only. We plan to add full support for HTTPS. So basically, end-to-end, you will have a custom domain which runs under HTTPS without the need to go deep into technical configurations. Now, the interesting part is the payment gateways. So this is the list of payment gateways that we do support. So you can connect with Stripe, PayPal, Square, WePay, Payoneer, Razorpay, Halkbank, to check out Payment Wall, Bambora, AuthorizeNet, and Braintree. So let's say we'd like to connect with PayPal. Once we set up the, not sure why it's a little bit sluggish, whether it's my internet connection. Let's see. For some reason, it's a little bit sluggish. Okay, there it is. It will allow us as well to, if you would like to use some kind of automation, we can have access to the API, which consists of API key and secret. There is an API documentation that we can use, of course, to in order to integrate with Envoice API. And of course, if you would like Envoice to get in touch with your systems, you can always register webhooks. So this means that every time the situation, an activity is created on our end, it will be propagated to your systems. So now let's go to the process of creating an invoice. This is where it starts. We can define or change the invoice number. After 2 to 3 invoices created, the system will automatically try to recognize the pattern and increase the sequence. So if you remember, we have set by default to have 15 days due date. So basically, if we issue the invoice today, due date is automatically calculated, so it will be 15 days later. We can add a category. So let's say we are issuing an invoice which is for example, software development. We can say development of the client portal, first payment out of 5 payments. We can set the price. The client is some company. And we can define seen. We can define the email for our client, the name of the company. We can assign additional emails to this client. All of them are going to receive the email. Of course, we can set the phone number, the address, the currency, the VAT number. And we can preset the default language for the invoice. So far, we support multiple languages, and we'll include some others as well. Like now, we support Swedish, Spanish, Serbian, Macedonian, Japanese, Italian, German, French, English, Dutch, Croatian, and Bulgarian. So we'll add Romanian as well. Thanks to one of the members of the AppSumo community who actually helped us to translate it to Romanian. And we can preset, of course, to override the default value for due date, we can set a different value if you need. So once we add the client, the client details will be listed here. Of course, we can for the client we can predefine if there is a certain tax. We can add it, like let's say sales tax, for example, 15%, and it will be applied. We can add multiple items. And apply, of course, the text. You can add a different type of text if needed. And then once you create the invoice, you can, of course, assign a discount to your client. It can be in percentage or in absolute amount. For example, if you would like to give this amount to a client, so basically it will be automatically deducted. The terms are also automatically created. We can override them if needed. Please pay on time. And we can add attachments from Dropbox or from an external link. So let's say we would like to add from an external link. This functionality is useful if we, for example, need to deliver something with the invoice as well, like in software development industry, you can send, let's say, the number of hours which was spent in details. So you can share it either from Dropbox or from the external link. And then you can select the payment providers, the payment gateways, which needs to be active. In our case, it is set to PayPal. Once we are done with the setting, we can click on Save and Preview in order to preview the invoice. And here we can see how the invoice looks like when it is going to be sent to the client. And we can see that the activity log is now preset for the invoice. We can see when the invoice was created. The options are that we can, for example, send the invoice to our client, and automatically a text will be preset that we can, of course, edit if we would like the message to be different. We can attach it, attach the PDF of the invoice automatically. Otherwise, it will be displayed in the email as a link. So once we click send, the email with the invoice will be sent to the client. So additional approach, alternative approach that how the client can access it. If we click on the copy invoice link, basically in that case, our client will be able to access the invoice via this link. So this is how it will look like for your client. Just a moment, I'll try to show you how it looks like in the email as well, or what is the email which your client is going to receive. Moment. Yeah. So this is it. Basically, the subject, of course, or whatever we have included in the text, a logo of your company, and then the invoice itself is present. If your customer click on view this invoice, basically they will get this window which we have just shown. Once your client open this the invoice itself. So basically, they can have an overview of it, and the options are to click on the button to pay, of course, but then they can download it as a PDF if they need a PDF version out of it. So let's say your client, for some reason, they have noticed that there is some kind of a mistake. They can click reject and describe the issue. For example, there is a typo in the company name. Please change it. Yeah. Or if they pay it via wire transfer, in that case, they can click mark as paid and write the details. Thank you. Today I have paid the invoice via wire transfer. The reference ID of the transaction is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and both for the reject and for market as paid, you will get a notification via email. Additionally, your client can click on view all, and in this case, they will be able to view all of the invoices which were issued to them, and they can filter them out based on the invoice status, whether they're paid, unpaid, or overdue. And of course, if they click on it, they'll be able to download it or preview them. Regarding the payment part, depends on the payment gateway. They have each of them. They have like unique payment experience, but let's say in our case with PayPal, as you can see, the amount is listed. We can log in via PayPal and, of course, pay this invoice. The invoice will be automatically marked as paid. Now, the interesting part, if we go back, is that, and refresh the page, this is how the activities are going to look like. So if you remember, when we have first created the invoice, it was only the activity related that indicates when the invoice was created. Then basically we can see that the invoice was sent via email, and automatically at the same time when the invoice is sent via email, it is marked as unpaid. We can see that the invoice was downloaded as a PDF as well by the client. We can see that our client has viewed the invoice. This is that they can view it in the email, that they can open it up. We can see that the invoice has been marked as rejected and that the invoice has been marked as paid, and we can see our client comments. So basically everything that happens as a change is registered under the activity for this invoice. If it is about a wire transfer, in that case, we will be able to record payments. Let's say our client has paid $1,500. We can register this amount in the invoice itself, and it will become available. And also, if it was automatically paid, it will say that it was, let's say, automatically paid. The payment was to with PayPal in our case. On the invoice itself, what we can do while we are in edit mode, we can of course mark it as paid, change the status, mark it as unpaid, as void. We can stop sending the automatic reminders. This means that invoice by itself, it sends an automatic reminders on several occasions. And if you would like to stop harassing your client, in that case, you can just click on this button and automatic reminders won't be sent to your client. Now, if we go to all invoices, this is a place where actually you can see all of the issued invoices, and you can filter them. You can filter them out based on time ranges, of course, different time ranges, or based on status. So in the grid, you can filter by different categories as well. You can filter based on the status, as I've mentioned. And let's say if you need to send an invoice, a new invoice to your client, in that case, you can just duplicate it and everything will be pre-filled for you. So in this case, you won't need to do the invoice manually once again. So let's say we would like to send a second invoice to this company, and then we can just change that this is the second payment out of 5. Yeah. Click on the save button, and a new invoice will be created. As you've seen, automatically the sequence has been increased since it was detected. Yeah, and we can send it to our client. There are different terms of how you can get paid in that sense. So one of this is the payment links. The payment links allows you to, in a way, first ask for a payment, and once your client pays, an invoice will be created automatically. So creating a payment link is rather easy. We need to select the client first, to select what kind of product we would like to include in the payment link, then the amount. If the tax needs to be added, we can of course include it. Then we click on generate link. So this can be once again accessed via a unique link, or you can send it via email. So if I open this this payment link, Chrome is not showing me love today. Okay, so this is how the payment link checkout page looks like. It will basically show that this is a payment request that needs to be completed. Who is the sender? Who is the receiver of the payment request? And then, of course, if I click on PayPal, pay with PayPal, I'll get redirected in order to pay this payment request. Yeah. Once paid, a new invoice will be created, as I said. Then we have another option, which is called My Finances, that I would like to mention. My Finances, the idea is basically to get a sense of all of the income that needs to go to your company. You can once again define for which period you're interested to look into. By default, it's from beginning of time. And basically, we'll see that, okay, we have an income for our company. If there are multiple currencies, we will see the multiple currencies listed. And basically, we can see for each currency, who is the client, how much money we need to, in a way, get paid, how much it is paid, how much it is due for every client. Then we can see, since this account does not have enough information, but we can see how much income we are having per client. So all of your clients are going to be listed under this section. You can see which of your clients are owing you, sorted by in a descending order. And of course, you can check based on the work type, what are the products or services that brings you most of the money in your company. Of course, you can always export this in an Excel, and it will give you details. I wanted to show this one. So this is the report exported into an Excel file. You can see all the companies, the currencies, what should be the total income, how much they have paid, how much they're due. You can see income per work type, and you can see the invoice details. Of course, if you click on this invoice, you'll be able to view its details on the website. Okay, so this is in a way where the business plan comes to an end, and now I'll just extend it to the Sell Online plan. So the Sell Online plan gives you a module for having your own store for selling digital goods and services. So in a way, everything starts from creating a new product. Um, we can say that we are, for example, selling, let's say, life coach service. The price is $1,000. We can add a description for our product. We can upload an image for the product as well. Okay. We can add different kind of attachments if needed. So if you are selling some kind of digital services, in that case, we can deliver the attachment to our clients once they create a successful order. We can of course name the name of the button. By default it is buy now, but you can override it with a different text. Here we can define also different discount periods or coupon codes, and we can define what is the payment method, basically based on what we are selecting regarding the payment gateway. Our clients will be able to pay us, and of course we can preset different messages in terms of a thank you message, which is going to be included after the payment is completed, and an email message, basically, which will be sent to the client. Okay, let's see. So now if we save this, we can see the product details and how the checkout page will look like. Here we have two options. So one is we can copy the checkout link itself. So once we copy this checkout link, if we have a personal website or if we are selling on Facebook, we can share this link, and it will help your clients to avoid going through this regular checkout process. In a sense that, like in traditional e-commerce solution, you need to go on the website, add the product in the basket, and then go to the checkout. Basically, this skips all of the steps, and you're bringing your customer to the checkout process, where they can, of course, do the order. And once they fill all of these details, an order will be created. They can define, of course, different quantity, set the billing information, set some order details if needed. Additionally, if we now go on Envoice, we will be able to access our store as well. So if I click go to store, all of the products will be listed in the store. So right now the design itself is pretty simple, but of course we can customize it. So if you go to store settings, we can always set all the details which are needed. So coaching for life, for example. We're a coaching company for making people better. And then under the store brand, we can upload our own logo or change the main background color. Just a moment, I'll see if I have some images that we can use to make our store better in design. Just a second, please. Okay. instead of blue color, let's say we'd like to use something else. Okay. Yeah. And right now, if I refresh the page, you'll see that everything will be applied for both the checkout page for our product and also it will be applied to our store. So now we are on the store itself. Of course, we can look at the products. So this is what your clients are going to see. And if they click on the product itself, they'll be able to go through the details. And if they click on buy now, they'll be redirected to the checkout page. I think I have one store which is configured as an example, so I'd like to show it. Yeah. So basically, this is one store that I have configured for demo purposes. If I click on the product, I can see the product details and click on buy now. And once your customers click on buy now, they'll be redirected to this checkout page, unique checkout page, where they can do the payment. Yeah. When an order is created, all of the orders will be available. All of the orders are going to be available on this screen. So basically, just like on the invoice screen, you'll be able to filter out based on the processing statuses. By default, when your customers are going to pay, the status will be set to completed. We have reduced the number of statuses now, so it is easier to manage for you. And basically, once your customers pay, a status will be changed to completed right away. In case they have left some information, but they haven't completed the order, they will have a pending payment status, where you can actually get in touch with them in order to ask them to fill out the details, or to ask them why they have decided to not to finish the checkout itself. Yeah. Your clients will be able to access the invoice, to access the order details, the order itself, and to access the invoice from their email. Yeah. So now we are coming to the end, I would say, we covered most of the features that are now available on Envoice. So I would suggest to jump into Q&A session where we can discuss the details.
Let's do it. All right, Sumolings, if you have any more questions that you want to drop in the Q&A box, you can go ahead and do that now. The first one here is not a question. James just says, this looks like a very nice solution for creating invoices. Thank you, James. Natalie has a couple questions here. I manage 3 businesses. Can I put more than one business in the software, or do I have to purchase 3 separate accounts?
Yeah. Thank you, Natalie, for your question. Basically, you'll need 3 separate accounts in order to manage 3 different businesses. Yeah.
Cool. All right, and this is the last question that we have here. So Sumolings, now is your time to go ahead and put some questions. Thank you for the thorough walkthrough and covering everything. Will there be the option for white labeling?
Currently, basically, we support white labeling in terms of if you preset your own domain. All of the emails that are going to be sent, the links will come through your domain. So in a sense, we won't show Envoice if you noticed, Envoice is not shown anywhere in a sense. So in a way, you're getting like a white label solution. Of course, if you include your custom SMTP, you'll be able to send the emails through your server. So in a way, you're getting a white label solution.
We love it. All right. And that's all we've got for today. Thank you so much for walking us through everything. Josh says, I really like the invoice follow-up function. Is there, I would just like to use this function. Any API or way of getting data in and out?
Yes. So as I mentioned, we have our API documentation that allows you to, in a way, automate most of the things on Envoice. We are updating it constantly, so in case something is missing, we can edit. So in a way, yeah, to answer it right away, you will be able to automate everything via the API. In the settings, there are some API keys that you can use to access the API. We have a GitHub account where you can, we have like a short and simple guideline that you can use to write the integration.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right,
Thank you.
Sumo links. If you have not already, then go to appsumo.com/invoice, that's invoice with an E, to redeem your code.
Yeah.
This is starting at $39 for a lifetime deal. And of course, it is backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee. So you can go ahead, get set up, play around with it, and see how it works for you. Once you have done that, we'd love to read your reviews on the deal page. We've gotten some reviews so far, and this does have a 5-taco rating. So go ahead and leave your rating there as well. And of course, if you have any more questions, you can leave those on the deal page too. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you have a good one.
Thank you too for the invitation. I really enjoyed it.
Of course.
Thank you, Lindsay. Hope all of you are having a wonderful day today.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.